Hey. Peace, peace. The Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Hopefully this thing doesn't just jump off. Tried to reset the computer, reset my modem, see what happens. Peace, 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 peace. Peace to the family. Patreon is the gang. Patreon.com/TheHoodMystic. My website is hoodmystic.com. And what we're going to do is just go over this article that just got put out today on hoodmystic.com. That article is the new moon in Virgo, which happened September 9th, 2018. Peace, peace. Well, I'm happy for that. I'm happy y'all can hear me. I'm going to try to record this so we can have some posterity if it does jump or if it does have any buffering problems and things like that. What I can say is that my computer is acting very, very strange. I might need a new one. I just bought this computer too, but you know how these things get out of style real quick. But back to the topic. New moon in Virgo, which happened September 9th, 2018. It happens in the second decan of Virgo at 16 degrees Virgo. This is a very interesting time. As you know, new moons deal with setting intentions, and so what I like to do with new moons is really deal with a building of clarity, just really purifying yourself when the moon wanes, and then when the new moon comes and you set those intentions, you are very, very, very clear on what you're intending. And so, you know, peace. My cat is going crazy because it wants to get out, but it wants to come in here too. So let's see how long this lasts. But, you know, everything's weird today, but let's hopefully this video is very on point and very on topic. And so what I first want to say is that my concern, first and foremost, is for the individual that may be watching this video. My concern is not for the group. Like, I don't care about a segment of population, because to me that doesn't exist. To me, there is only individuals. And so the relationships that I can, you know, build, and the people that I know, and the conversations that I can have in general or through readings is how I like to operate. I generally don't like to deal with stuff like on the collective, like a whole group of people, because to me that's just like weird. Because say for instance you have a whole group of people and then, you know, two people decide to do some wild shit, and you know, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. I truly believe that. So, you know, I don't want to be identified in any type of group or any type of segment. I just strictly want to be known on my own merits and in my own space. And the same, I offer that same energy to you, you know. So I felt that was important to say. So I said it. So let's get into this build. Let's get into what we're here for. The new moon in Virgo, which happens at 16 degrees Virgo. It opposes Neptune. So it's kind of like a full moon in some sense. So it's really a question of what are you bringing to the table. We had this analogy earlier as kind of like a setup, but really to hone in on this concept, what are you bringing to the table? Are you bringing your hard work, your talents, your skills, your abilities? Are you adding value to what's being presented to the table? Or can you build and can you add on? Could you be a good cog in the wheel? And it has to be something of a goal that everybody is in alignment with. I'm not just talking about being just a mindless slave. I'm talking about, you know, really having a shared goal, you know. And once you have that shared goal, what are you then now bringing to your to the table? What is your role? If you have emotional problems and inner turmoil, then it doesn't really even matter what you're bringing to the table, because even if we do have a goal, that's what you're going to bring to the table. My analogy in the daily energy reading was bringing a broken plate to the table, and the meal for the day was soup. Now, sometimes you can bring a broken plate to the table and get away with it. But then sometimes, you know, the meal requires you to have a solid structure. You know, sometimes you have to come through and you have to be solid. Sometimes you have to be depended upon. You know, sometimes you can't, it really don't matter how you feel, you know, if you hurt. You know, sometimes we have a job to do. So you have to be in full alignment with your team, whether your relationship or you're doing business with somebody, things of that nature. You have to really be sure that this psychological piece is intact, because if this psychological piece isn't intact, then you have all of the well intentions, all of the, you know, proper goals, but the cogs ain't right, you know. Just something to be mindful about as we begin to elaborate on some of the different aspects. The new moon is opposed Neptune and Pisces, like I said, and that is kind of like a full moon in a sense of a revelation. And so when you deal with a revelation and a intention setting at the same time, it's like, okay, now I know where I want to go. You understand? How many people don't know where they want to go, or don't know what they want to do? They just move into default mindsets. Well, guess I can just get more money. Well, I guess I'll just get married. Well, I guess I'll get a new house. Well, I guess I'll be career driven. Well, you know, all of these different boxes and different things. And then when you talk to people, when you really get to know people, the people that you respect and idolize, they'll tell you, I really don't even want to do this shit. I really just want to be a painter. I really just want to be a ballerina. I really just want to, you know, twerk. I really want to be a stripper. You know, all of this weird shit. But like, you a CEO of this Fortune 500 company. What do you mean you want to be a stripper? Like, you would give all of this up to be a stripper? Like, that's weird, you know. But it's like knowing what you really want and then going for it, as opposed to factoring in what your mama wanted for you, what your daddy wanted for you, what your ancestors wanted for you, what your spirit guides wanted for you, what your brother wanted for you. You living with all of this weight and you trying to make it for them, but then when it comes to you, you have no fucking idea. And so when we talk about setting intentions and we talk about new moons, we're talking about going into this new moon with absolute clarity. So the new moon opposed Neptune and Pisces is not just, you know, I know what I want because I've been doing what I've been doing, and, you know, it been working for me. And when it don't work for me, I know exactly what to do to get back on track, you know, and all of this shit. I'm talking about really being absolute clear based upon a revelation through you actually doing the work and really working with the waning moon. So, hope this is resonating. I hope this is making sense so far. And so what's actually happening with another aspect that's happening with the new moon is the minor grand trine. Now, a grand trine is when we have a triangle, like, you know, it's the rock in here. And then a minor grand trine is like state property, which is like cool. You know, a lot of people like it, you know, but it's still not. You figure like state property, if they really would have went hard with what they were doing when they had that buzz and they was like really into their business, then maybe we still would be rocking with state property the same way that we rock with the rock. Or the same way, another hip hop analogy is like Cash Money would be the Grand Trine, but Young Money would be the minor Grand Trine, where they actually did the work and still kept like, all right, we just gonna come out with these hits, we gonna come out with these albums, and people was gonna really vibe with us because of this music and these tours and it's things like that, like where they kind of like overshadowed Cash Money when they really shouldn't have, but they put in the work. So a minor Grand Trine is like, okay, you have an opportunity to be what you need to be, but it's not just going to be something that's just magically handed to you. You know, you have to bring whatever talent you had. So like back to the analogy of Cash Money, Young Money was like, you know, where Wayne was talk about Drake being good at the hooks and things of that nature, where Drake was like good at the music that he did. Wayne was good at the music that he did. Nicki Minaj was good at the music that she did. And so as they did their thing, they still had that collective. And so you have three different parts, and you have an interdependent relationship where they're independent, but they're dependent on their collective as their backup, because, you know, these three individuals, they go through tough times in their lives. Like, they all go through tough times, but as a successful conglomerate, you know, as Young Money, they still put out decent music. And that's relative to if you're into that type of stuff or not, you know what I'm saying? But basically, in the Bible, it talks about bringing your talents forth, and the person who didn't bring his talent forth because he only had one talent, he was the one who suffered. And the person who had 5 talents, he brought his 5 talents more, and he was awarded with more talent, you know? So the more talent that we have, if we have no talent, if we imagine ourselves as having no talent, then that's the reality. So if you have to begin to imagine yourself as more than what you first see. Because when you first see yourself, you might see yourself as not having any of the talent or things of that nature. But, you know, I can't tell you what your talent is. Like, nobody could tell me what my talent was. It was something that, like, I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I need to develop. Like, I don't work on drawing because that's not my path. I work on the things like speaking or music and, you know, astrology. Like, the things that I'm good at, I work at. You know what I'm saying? I work at, like, I'm kind of consistent with it. You know, so to me, we all have talent. And some of us have more talent than the other person, but some of us, the fact that we all have talent is the reality that we all have work to do, and we all have investigation and work. Sometimes people put out stuff or they give me stuff half cocked and they like, what you think about it? And I might say, you know, it's half cocked. You could have put more intention into it. You could have put more energy into it. You could have put more, you know, thought into it. There's nothing wrong with that, because the more you put into stuff, the more you get back. And when we're developing and working through this energy and trying to manifest that which we truly want, it's going to require you to put some effort into it. It's not like we're talking about this magic shit, like we're trying to summon the fairy godmother and shit like that. Even though we work with the goddess energy, even there, she's still teaching, she's still guiding. Like, guiding is not, you know, carrying. Guiding is meaning you gonna walk, but we might tell you where to take a left or where to take a right at. So taking full responsibility of who you are and what you are bringing to the table. Once again, you know, continuing with this theme as we move forward from slide to slide. Just slide to the left, slide to the right. So another transit, let's look at this map real quick, and we look at Venus, which actually on that same day, relatively around the same time, is going to cross over into Scorpio. And so let's talk about that for a second, and what it means, like, esoterically, and how you could take this energy one way or the other way. Now, if you factored in what I've said thus far during this whole build, you know, the piece about clarity, the piece about bringing it to the table, the piece about your effort, you know, you take those three pieces, right? And then you bring it into Scorpio, which is, you know, getting rid of shit. Now, if you're spiritually inclined or spiritually attuned to what's going on, then you'll willfully get rid of shit, right? Friends, you know, material shit that you don't need, jobs, you know, and the various things. You understand what I'm saying? It'll be like that. Peace. So, if you're not spiritually inclined and you start losing friends, right? Then it's like, oh, why you want to leave me, friend? And why you want to leave me, baby? I love you so much. I love you so much. Please don't go. I need you. But see, when you spiritual, it's like, you need help with that? Because you understand where your power come from. It don't come from this relationship. Oh, y'all want to fire me? Okay, I understand. You understand. So you have to really understand. And so like what Disney did, which was probably the first Disney movie ever where which is reality, right? Because there's two sides to every story all the time. There's always everybody has a story leading up to an event, and then we can look back on it like, okay, that was the bad guy and this was the good guy because this person, whatever the case may be. But Maleficent was different, where it was the story was focused on the antagonist as opposed to the protagonist, and we got to see her backstory. And then you got to see how she acted out in that way of disappointment, you know, where it's like, you know, she was once very spiritually attuned, and then something bad happened to her. She wasn't as spiritually attuned as she once thought, because once something bad happened to her, she went dark. You're like, fuck this spiritual shit. How many times you been in that situation where you just like, you know, what the fuck am I meditating for? What am I doing? What is these candles for? What is all of this shit for? You know, because you have this disappointment of what you really want out of life. You know, you have these lusts for these material things. And so when you get really deep into self, you're not disappointed any longer because you rest in that relationship. You understand that your mortal body has a time limit, and so you're not really attached to that part either. So death is something that just processes, you know, people want to leave you, people don't like you, people hate you. Everything that happens, you're not disappointed because you realize that relationship with self is more important. And so dealing with the truth is going to set you free, and letting things go is going to set you free as well. But if you are attached to certain shit, then that feeling becomes sadness. That feeling becomes disappointment, because you're not really attached to truth. So hopefully your mind is on holisticness. Because just Venus and Scorpio and disappointment and letting things go is just one planet. But there's other planets that's happening. So hopefully you understand that, you know, in the midst of turmoil, in the midst of troubles and the things of that nature, you're able to be clear enough to sow the proper intentions, and be clear enough to connect the spirit, and be clear enough to know that things can change. You know, part of this work, part of what I do is to show people, mainly people like myself, that change is possible through connection to self and connection to self alone. And when you connect to self, things will change. And when things change, you gotta be okay with that shit, because you have to take control of your life. And once you have control of your emotions, once you're not in the reptilian brain of flight or fear, you're able to really connect at a deep level and find purpose and live your life with a smile and look for those relationships or look for those teams, as opposed to isolating yourself and being afraid or thinking that somebody is out to harm you. Very key. And so we're dealing with the new moon, so it's very important that we revisit the act of intention. You know, intention isn't simply you want some shit to happen. You know, peace. Intention is more than just simply wanting some shit to happen. We have to be so direct and so clear in all of our conversations. Peace. If we're not clear about our intentions, then what the fuck are they? What are they if we're not clear in our conversations in every walk of life? Why do, when you get around your mama, you stop talking about this shit? Why, when you get to work, you stop talking about this shit? Trust me, when I go to where I go, this is on. I don't fucking take nothing off. You know, you see, like, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the tarot? And trust me, I'm in established areas where I'm the only nigga there, but I'm not there to talk about religion or culture or nothing of what I got on. None of my religious garb. But trust, I can't break this character. I can't break this character for nobody. Because this is who I am. And when it comes to my intentions and the things that I'm about, I can't stop doing it because I gotta make some money. I gotta make some money. And whether I'm gonna make money or not, these motherfuckers is gonna have to take me as I am, because I don't see nobody else changing to accommodate the system. So it's just more of a clarity that you have, and you just wait and you just wish a motherfucker would. Peace. You just wish somebody would say something out of character, out of order, so they can get put in their right path. Because I'm on my right path. I'm living in all of my intention. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm knowing, I'm seeing, I'm believing. I'm working through this shit. And this is something that we all have to begin to do. How can we be so worried about what the next motherfucker's doing and still be in our intentions? It's impossible. So it's very much of a vibe. It's very much of a level of understanding that one has, not with the world, not with the books, but with itself. That the problem is us not showing up as our authentic self and trying to change somebody or change some system or change everything around us, change your kids, change your husband, change your wife. But when it comes to changing yourself, it's tough. And so we have to really get into the functionality of spirituality as opposed to the aesthetics of spirituality. Form follows function is a architectural concept, but I love architectural concepts and relating it to spirituality. And some of my earlier works, I built on this concept, like back in when I first started my YouTube in the Keeping It Conscious era. Lasted about 2 weeks. I was breaking down, not even breaking down, but just expressing how I felt that my spirituality was the blueprint to my life. It was the foundation to how I wanted my exterior life to be, and which of course, like, cause who in the fuck is building buildings without blueprints? Who's building skyscrapers? Who's just like, hey, bro, sis, bro, come here. See the space? We about to build this skyscraper up. My nigga got the plug with some bricks. No, actual cement bricks. We got them other bricks too, but that's another conversation. Yeah, and cement, yes, we about to just build this big ass skyscraper without no architecture because we want to build some apartments for these babies. Good idea, but there is no blueprint to that shit. So when we talk about our spiritual ideals, like I have some very large, grandiose spiritual ideals, like changing the whole entire world. And trust me, I see you on the chat, bro. It comes up on the screen. But I don't necessarily know if I'm even recording or people seeing this or not. But what I am doing is recording it, so I'll rewatch it and see what happens. But besides that point, yeah, my spiritual ideals, they're grandiose, they're large, but there's also an inner workings of lots of notes, lots of planning, lots of blueprinting, if that's even a word. You know, it's synonymous. You can't just be looking at the aesthetics of shit like, oh, he had on the head wrap, or the technology aspect is when people be like, oh, he got a lot of subscribers. Like, that don't mean shit. Like, a subscriber, like, you could buy subscribers, you could do all types of shit to get subscribers, you know. Or, you know, all of these different type of things that you could look at the surface and judge a person, but you don't really judge their inner merits or their inner works, or even yourself, like, or you're looking for an ideal, or you're searching for something that looks right, but not even understanding that if you're not going to do the work, you can listen to, you could come up with a schedule of deep niggas to watch on YouTube, an 8-hour schedule. Work for 8 hours, come home, watch deep niggas for another 8 hours, sleep for 8 hours, and do that shit repeatedly. If you're not doing the work, it's a lot of deep niggas on here. It's a lot of deep sisters on here. It's a lot of deep Indian people on here. It's a lot of deep Russians. Like, you know, all different types of ideologies. Enochian, like, you know, people dropping the information. But listen, if you're not about to buy no book, if you're not about to do no work, what the fuck do it even fucking matter? So hopefully my work inspires the individual to get out in life to do something, period. Regardless of anything, I hope that it makes you want to do something in your life, in your relationships, in your world. I don't want it to be, oh, that video was good. Like, it don't matter if it was good or not, because I'm literally just giving information and trying to explain astrology. This is not entertainment. This is information. You know, our culture is not raised on information. It's raised on entertainment. So, you know, it gotta be certain little trinkets and little jugs and little shakes and shit to get people to even pay attention. But at the end of the day, let's just hope that the information is something that could be applied to your life and that you can begin to imbue it into your reality. See, the main topic, the main goal, the thing that I try to strive in every single video is the individual's connection to self. And so the tarot of the week that explains this concept is the 9 of Dis, which is game. We need to just look at this card. Peace. We need to just look at this card for a second. The 9 of Dis. And so when you have the 9 of Dis, you have the upper 3 card, the upper three planets, which are masculine planets, and the lower three planets, which are feminine planets, and then in the middle you have the three discs, which unifies this energy. And so, period, point blank, understanding that total unification of your, and when we talk about masculine and feminine, we're not talking about man and woman. We're talking about your ability to act, or your intellectual striving, which is your masculine energy, and then your energy to be empathetic, to feel, to know, to sense. Rather not. So in all walks of life, see, if I'm just running down a hallway and I'm running into a brick wall, that's just pure masculine energy. Now, feminine energy is, okay, let me stop. Let me take a right. See, we have to utilize both of these energies in all walks of life. We have to be forceful, but then empathetic to know, maybe that's the wrong idea. Maybe that's the wrong decision. And so this is the balance, or this is the unification of masculine and feminine energy as it represents in the Nine of Discs. And so what have you been working hard towards, and where have you been putting your thoughts and energy, and more or less have you been wasting your time? Just like the Eight of Cups we talked about in the full moon video, but more to this same energy of wasting your time versus, it's people that I talk to that watch reality TV shows, fall asleep watching the reality TV shows. Then it's people that I talk to that, give me 1 minute. Then it's people that I talk to that don't watch reality TV shows at all. They don't even own a TV. Like, they haven't watched TV in years. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so there has to be a level of taking life seriously and cutting the TV off. And to the people who've been cutting the TV off and been working, been reading, been studying, been cultivating, been trying to put their shit together, been trying to understand this energy, peace. Then you're going to be rewarded. That's that Neptune and Pisces shining down as you begin to set the intention of knowing where you want to go and knowing the intention that you want to set. That's so much more powerful than simply setting an intention based on, oh, I just want to live a better life. Oh, I just want to make more money. Oh, I just want to do a money jar. Oh, I just want to do a honey jar. I just want Sean to love me. Oh, I just want Lisa to love me. It's deeper. You set deeper intentions that are aligned with the self. And so I hope that resonated, and I hope that made sense. Sometimes I don't know what be happening with the energy. If people be listening, do I be getting blocked? I just don't know. And so the Orisha, so we just gonna keep going forward. Once again, I am recording this, so if it is coming across frayed, I don't know, it's coming across clear on my end. So the Orisha of the week is Ogun Balandio, and this is taken from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck. This energy has been something that's been on my mind, something that I've been thinking about for a while, and just wanted to bring light to it. Just want to invite everybody to go get that book, the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck, so you can get kind of a base of what I'm talking about. It's on Amazon. It's very cheap. Comes with the deck and the book, so such a good value. But ultimately, Ogun Balandio is the Ogun that is a healer through technology, steel, and iron. This Ogun is an Ogun of focus, precision, force, and healing towards various diseases and ailments. And so the diseases that he heals range from various physical to spiritual to all points in between. uh this is more or less of a healing energy. It's deeper than a healing energy that you get from other orishas. You know, you can get healing, direct healing, by going to a Babalawo, but sometimes you have to get healing through technological means. And so Ogun Balandio is that deity that helps you, guide you through these realms, through this spiritual realm, you know. And since we're in this realm where technology is all around us, it's in our hands, you know, you wake up to it, you go to sleep to it, your alarm rings on your phone. So that means the first thing that you feel is your technology. Ogun Balandio is kind of like that balance in that realm where you might be kind of alone spiritually, where you think that spiritually is everything outside of technology. So, you know, a lot of people would be like, well, get off the internet, get off of Facebook, you know, get off of all of this stuff and things of that nature, while, you know, people are on it regardless. So, you know, meaning that there is no spiritual energy into this shit or infused in this shit, but as a matter of fact, there is, you know. And so Ogun Balandio is that energy that, you know, you can begin to usher as you begin to, say for instance, you have, you know, you want to be a healer and you want to use technology to begin to heal. You know, you could work with this energy. You understand what I'm saying? Just look it up for yourself. Very deep stuff, you know, as I begin to deal with the correspondence of this piece, where, oh, like, you know, and syncretism or correspondence is the art of voodoo, where they incorporated the energy into the saints, or this is what they like to say. But to me, I don't necessarily view it like that. I think that the saints are very ancient energy that just carried on and carried through tradition. And so, of course, it's easy to say that, you know, somebody is stealing somebody else's stuff, when that just don't make any sense. How could we steal or embody something that we've created? So with that being said, I use this energy as there are people online, exactly. And so Ogun Balandio is this energy that we can begin to deal with it. And so really understanding Ogun is really understanding Saint Anthony too, and not Saint Anthony as a man that walked the earth, you know, Saint Anthony as a concept, as an energy, because that is simply what we're talking about. Because the etymology of Saint Anthony is inestimable. I don't know, inestimable, which means too great to calculate. And so when we deal with this technological age, we're dealing with a mass amount of energy. You know, people could steal this video and probably put it on another network and share it to a million other people. Like, you know, the amount of people that you can reach with technology is inestimable, too great to calculate. But you got to understand the energy of Ogun and the warrior energy as a protective guiding force, as opposed to, you know, some shit to be afraid of. So if I, like, Ogun is the Orisha that, you know, I mostly closely associate myself with, where it is like you're kicking up dust and you're trying to, like, you're not afraid of the evil or negative forces. Like, the negative forces just simply they don't scare you. You understand what I'm saying? They're just something that, like, they have nothing to do with what you're trying to do. Saint Anthony of Egypt, he was once a rich, famous, you know, whatever type of person, and he gave it all away, went into the desert, and still did what he had to do. But even then, it was like he was like the devil's arch enemy. And the devil is just a word that we're just using in a Christian ideological connotation, meaning just people that just have evil intentions, people who have bad intentions. And so as they just try to just, you know, egg him on and piss him off or whatever the case may be, he never really was afraid of them, because in his mind he felt that if anything had power over them, they would have already devoured him already. So it's like, if you really think that somebody is really out to get you, you really think that somebody can hurt you, don't you think they would have hurt you by now? And so when you deal with Ogun, or you deal with warrior energy or Saint Anthony, it's like, it's a whole different level of protection. It's a whole different level of warrior, and people can just talk and they can just feel or whatever. But you deal with Ogun, and you deal with your healing, and you deal with that as a purpose, as a pathway. You understand? Because generally people who have dealt with Ogun or have Ogun on their head, they have dealt with a level of spiritual torture. And spiritual torture is much more painful than physical torture. To be, you know, people who have dealt with deep, dark depression, you know, you've dealt with, you know, abusive parents and things of that nature, like situations where you couldn't have never controlled, but you somehow managed to make your way out of that. And then you know, become a responsible human being, you know, just a normal person in society, but you still have that, you know, spiritual torture in the past. And that realization is not something to hold you back, to hold you down. That realization is just a simple realization. If you can make it through that, what can a person actually do to you? Now, if you made it through spiritual torture, what can physical torture do to you? Not a damn thing. So you have to really begin to focus on the positive things in life and begin to move forward with your intentions as this new moon moves forward. You can't be thinking like, you know, such and such is going to hurt me, such and such is going to harm me. You know, you have to begin to move forward in the reality that, shit, can't nobody hurt you, can't nobody stop you. You know, every step you take, you know, you pissing the devil off in your righteous purpose, and there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that nobody can do. You know, once you believe in yourself and you trust in yourself, and not in the physical sense, in the spiritual sense, in your higher self sense, you understand that all of these things are true. So that can conclude my new moon presentation. I don't know how rough it was or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes people, it's just important that you have something useful to add to the conversation, or else, you know, you disrupt the message for other people. So, you know, as long as you here for the message and you here to be clear and learn and grow, then you fine. But if you here to, like, you know, you have an agenda, you have a beef, then that's weird, because we're just simply talking about astrology and keeping the connection, you know, clear between the individual and the higher self, you know, simply in the many different ways that this can begin to manifest in our lives, and the many different disruptions and things of that nature that can happen. You know, it's important to stay clear with self as we begin to move forward and process this information. And as you begin to set your intentions, be clear that, you know, the intentions that you're setting, they have to be from source. If you're just setting intentions for the sake of setting intentions, you know, that's probably the problem. So that being said, family, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Be back again on Tuesday with our daily energy readings.